Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today, as you can see, I have a new studio set up which I'm hopefully going to sort of hone in the next coming weeks to make sure that I bring a better experience to you guys. So in a previous video I tested out some little LED lights that was available on my Amazon store for the DJI MAVIC MINI. So these little lights I mounted underneath and they are twist to turn on. There we go, just like that. Alright, now in that video I tested that these could be seen up to about 500 meters. Now they greatly aid you being able to see your drone at night. They did a fantastic job, and like I say, you can see them up to 500 meters as I could. If you haven't checked out that video, then please go ahead and do so. However, in this video I'm going to be testing out something completely different, so let's go take a look at that now. One of the favourite things I have about this YouTube channel of mine is the community spirit. Now, I always try my best to read every comment that you'll leave on my video, and it is by doing so that once again, a YouTuber called Richard alerted me after my last video to something which is much more brighter, which is what I'm going to test in this video. So the product in question are these CREE strobe lights from Flytron. Now keep watching till the end of the video because there is a little juicy bonus at the end of this. As this channel does have a worldwide audience, I wanted to make sure that the next product I tested, i.e. these on the channel, was going to be okay for every sort of body that governs flights with drones, etc., such as the FAA, the CAA and the EASA rules in Europe. So what I wanted to do is make sure this was as correct as possible. Now, one person did actually comment on my previous videos, see, I told you I'd do a listen to the audience, that it's all good having those previous lights on your drone, but the problem is they're not directional. So if you did fly over at 500 meters, for example, you would technically have no navigational awareness as to where you actually was to be able to fly home, should you lose your instruments. So I thought, that's a great point, challenge accepted. So what I've done is to make sure that these are relevant for all the bodies, as I've previously mentioned, I made sure that I bought a green one and a red one. So that would then give me the ability in this video, as I'm doing my tests, to be able to see the orientation of the drone, and you will be quite impressed with some of my flying, hopefully, and just how good these do allow you to have full visual line of sight of your drone. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how these mount to your drone, because there is a couple of different ways. Right, so from the UK seller, these lights cost £15 each, which isn't cheap. And the mounting system that they offer is these little sort of hook Velcro things, which do work really well. So as you can see, the sort of 3M thread lock. Now, if I just push them together, I mean, you can see they're pretty secure. All right, so that is how you would mount them normally. If you've got your own method of mounting them, then absolutely brilliant to you. Go ahead and do that, just make sure they don't fall off. However, I did have a really nice person that sent me some mounts that they're 3D printed. So I thought, well, I'll feature them in this video and I will leave a link in the description below so you can go have a look for yourself. So these are the products that they sent me. Now, these are CREE light holders that clip onto the rear legs. Now, they're a really much more secure and ideal sort of piece of kit to have on the drone. But you might ask about weight. We'll come to that in a second. The second option they gave us is this product here. So that sits underneath the drone. The only slight downside with that is you would have to make sure you turn the drone on before you mount it, because it does cover the on-off button. So what situation would you use these little holders? So this one would be ideal if you was using a white holder. Now, white colour LEDs is noted to be the best colour for being able to see it on a night. So if you wanted to get yourself a white one, something like this would be absolutely ideal. Now, as you know, I have gone for the red and green because I wanted this next video to be absolutely correct in terms of how you would navigate on an actual aircraft, etc., and keep up with the rules for many places where these are going to be sold. So I think the best option is to just clip these on the back of the legs. So I'm going to quickly show you how to do that now. So first of all, I'm going to take my CREE light. I'm just going to gently slot that in. I'm going to take the drone, pop it on the top, and just gently twist it round into position. As you can see, that is perfectly mounted and is going absolutely nowhere. I won't bother with the other side because there's no real point. So if you're going to do the other side, you would simply hook it into there and then just pop that into place. And you'd sit your mount in, your little light in there. Absolutely perfect. So anyway, enough talking. I've shown you what these do. Let's look at what they weigh to make sure we're going to keep our drone under that 249 grams. Right, so I've put both strobes on with these holders. So I'm just going to place the drone, which does have a battery in, you know, just to make sure that we're doing things correctly, on the scales. And that is 249 grams precisely. So I've just taken both rear lights off and I've mounted one inside this little holder. So I will just give this a little weight as well, just to make sure there's no funny business going on. Let's put this on the scales. And that's 244 grams. Right, so now it's time for action. So these are the two lights in action. Hopefully they're not blinding you. I've got lots of light in this room, but they are incredibly bright. Now, like I said, I have tested them and you'll be really, really impressed with the performance. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut to that video now. Hopefully this is explaining well enough for you. And like I say, keep watching to the end because there's a really nice little juicy bonus. So I have done 3 flights. So one flight was done during complete daytime, just to see the limits of them. One of them was done at dusk, and the other one was done at night time. So let's get started. So we're going to start our flight out now then. You can see that it is quite bright. Unfortunately, the camera doesn't pick up using a screen recording just how bright it was, but it was pretty bright. So we're fighting the wind a little bit here, but you can see, I can see the drone completely, absolutely fine. These lights doing a really, really good job even in the daytime. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump to 400 meters now, and then just continue our journey, just because you don't need to be watching it that much. So we're coming up to that 400 meters, 470 meters, and to be perfectly honest with you, I could still see the drone, but the lights had washed out. So what I'm going to do now is, as you can see, we're going to cut to the nighttime dusk flight. So that's how bright these lights really, really are. So here we are then, we're flying out in normal mode. I tried to do it in sport, but unfortunately the gimbal kept dipping down and I wanted you to be able to see the sights really. So 221 meters, you can see on screen now how much they are visible using a mobile phone recording. I think they look really, really good and really, really bright, but of course we are still close I'd expect them to be. So let's continue on. So we're flying along then, and we're going to come up to this, well, what shall we say? Shall we stop at, say, 500 meters? Yep, I said we'll stop at 500 meters and then we'll take a little look and see how much we can see them. So there we go, we're at 500 meters, all but a couple. So, right, what can you see on screen? Really, really bright, look really, really good. Still perfectly visible. And we're at that maximum visual line of sight, what you would expect to be able to see in the daytime, and you can see we can still see them perfectly fine. So cracking on with this then, I'm going to jump straight to 900 meters, as you can see on screen. I'm going to stop at 1,000 meters, and then, again, just show you the mobile phone footage. As I've already said, just be aware that the phone can't see as good as your eye. So there you go, it's on screen now. What do you think to that? Really, really bright still. Absolutely amazing. So let's bring the drone back and let's start our night flight. So here we go then. I've waited till it's night time. I want to make sure it's completely pitch black so I can get full effect of the strobes. So we're flying out nice and steady. Again in sport mode, but fighting that wind. It is quite windy tonight. So we're going to jump straight to 500 meters. And during the night, as you can see on screen now, you can see them a lot brighter. They are so nice and visible, doing their job absolutely perfectly. So let's fly onwards then, still with the strong wind warnings, really battling the wind as I've already mentioned. Plenty of battery left though. You may see the signal drop in and out slightly, that's because I keep putting the phone controller, the remote controller down on the floor. So 1,000 meters, what can you see? Impressive? I think so. Still see them perfectly bright and nice. So let's continue our journey, and I'm literally not going to mess around this time. There we go, 1,900 meters. Let's stop at 2,000 and let's just see how good you can see them on screen. Look at that, absolutely brilliant. So bright. I could see these if I continued on for another 1,000 meters, I reckon. Absolutely no problem at all. But ultimately, it is now time to bring the drone back. So what I wanted to do is prove this point that was mentioned in the other video. So, you know, by that comment and what I mentioned at the beginning of this one. So I am going to fly this drone home backwards. And as you can see, I am not using any compass. I'm not using any maps. I cannot see the surrounding. We are over a river. We're over the Humber estuary, and as you can see, you know, we're really getting sort of blown around by the wind. Look at that dipping speed that was there. Now, with the wind, we was drifting a little bit, so it's not a case of just flying straight towards me. You know, I do have to keep making course corrections, and just to take away my complete visual line of sight and reference, I have now dipped the gimbal down towards the Humber. You can see absolutely nothing on the screen as we speak. I'm not using any instruments. I'm not using any compass. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You can see I'm having to make some course corrections because, you know, we have moved slightly. So down to 1200 meters, 70 meters high. Yep, completely flying this drone in the dark, no instruments. And this answers the question, can I, using these stupidly bright Flytron CREE navigation lights, using the red and green to make sure I've got the correct orientation, can I fly all the way back home without using my instruments and just using visual line of sight only? And as you can see, at 16 meters per second, we are absolutely motoring along. Only 600 meters to go. That's how fast we're going in sport mode. We've got the wind blowing us as well, so absolutely no resistance. As you can see, absolutely flying along. And yeah, nearly home. 300 meters. I'm going to start to slow down slightly because I'm going to need to bring the drone down. And there we go. And that is me flying my drone, as you can see, in complete darkness. Right, let's cut to the studio. So what do you make of that? Absolutely fantastic performance. Now I do appreciate this is not the cheapest, we'll get to that at the end, but realistically I could see them 2,000 meters away and it was so clear. Now your eye can do so much of a better job than a mobile phone screen can, so I did struggle at times to get the screen to focus to be able to see these in the distance, but I could see them perfectly fine. Now 2,000 meters isn't really that far in comparison to what the manufacturers state, with which you can see these 3 miles away, and that's what makes them compatible with the FAA rules. So yeah, I mean, this is probably one of the best products I've ever tested, and what I will do is I will leave a link for these in the description below so you can go get one yourself. Like I said, please do check the rules in your own country because there is navigational colours, red and green, that you might have to adhere to. If you want to just get yourself a white set, or there is a blue as well but it's not recommended, then you feel free to do so. And the big juicy bonus that I did promise you at the end is if you use GAVINHR at the checkout, you will get 15% off any item site-wide. So hopefully that's a nice little bonus for you guys. I've negotiated that discount with you with the manufacturer. So also these are absolutely brilliant. I will leave a link in the description about these as well. You know, they do a fantastic job at keeping them on, and they feel a lot more secure, and they do have it come in grey as well to match the drone. I just wanted them in orange because they stand out a little bit more. There is the underbody one as well, which does work well. But if you don't want any of that, then of course you can just get the 3M lock, which is also on the website available to buy. Hopefully that was the most comprehensive test you could possibly ask for on this channel. These lights, as I've mentioned, are compatible with all the rules set out by the FAA, EASA and the CAA as well. You can't go wrong. They give you utterly brilliant visibility. They are £15 each, give or take. I think they're £14.90, and that is obviously pounds. You can buy these worldwide, so your local currency may be slightly different, but they're well worth it. I'm not paid by Flytron. I bought these myself, The only thing I happen to do is negotiate that discount code for you. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to check out all my other videos on the Mini 2 and the Mavic Mini, or indeed go check out the video that I've done using the cheaper LED options that was available in my Amazon store. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to give us a big thumbs up, and see you again soon.